Hey, Frank.
What?
I was looking on the computer today, and I was trying to find a cruise for us.
Oh.
But I don't know what kind of cabin to get us.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I
What?
can help you with that.
You can?
Yes, because today's video is choosing the best cabin for you.
So before we get into the video today, we want to remind everybody that's watching, if you're not already a regular subscriber, join our great super cruising community. Hit that subscribe button and don't be a dingling like this one and hit that little bell, and that'll get you notifications of when our videos are posted and when we go live.
That's right.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us. We have twice a week super chat Sundays, right? Is it twice a week we do?
No. It's
Twice a week.
month.
Twice a month.
Twice a month.
Twice a
we
week.
drop new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. That's twice a week.
Oh, that must be what I was
That's
thinking
right.
of.
And then we do live streaming twice a month.
Well, let's get right into today's
I know
subject.
how to choose the best cabin for you.
I think first we should tell them about the different types of
Right.
cabins and what that means.
Yeah, we're just going to go down the basics. Boom-bitty, boom-bitty, boom.
Boom-bitty, boom-bitty, boom.
Go.
So the first thing that comes to mind is the inside cabin.
Right.
What does inside cabin mean, Frank?
Inside cabin means no windows to the outside world.
Now, that will probably be the most affordable, I would assume.
Yeah.
And in most
cases.
cases, they have a plethora, that's my
Oh,
word
yeah.
today, of inside cabins.
Right.
And why would we like inside cabins?
Well, for those people who really like the darkness, it really is good in terms of sleeping.
Oh, napping and
Yes.
sleeping?
I mean, there's no light in the room. It's compact and very convenient. For those of you who are not interested in having these big rooms and this and that and whatever, you say to yourself, you know what? I am not going to spend a lot of time in my cabin. Therefore, an inside cabin is for me.
And we find a lot of seasoned cruisers, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Save the money and go on multiple cruises, that's what I say.
Spend the extra on excursions, food, or whatever in port, but don't waste it on an expensive cabin, I guess.
Second cabin?
Yep.
Ocean view.
Right, ocean view, which could have anywhere between a small round porthole window to, I'd say,
A picture window.
picture window, right, or kind of a rectangle. Now, we've done ocean view.
We
right.
have done ocean view.
That's right.
And we like ocean
Yeah.
view. It affords you some more light.
A little bit of scenery,
A little bit of scenery. Now,
but doesn't break the bank.
Right. And we have to say, though, for all our newbies out there, you're not going to be able to open that window.
Oh, that sucker is riveted shut.
Now, the third category of cabin that we can think of is a balcony.
Balcony, very popular.
Very, very
Yes.
popular. Most cruises have at least 50% of their cabins will be balconies.
That's right.
And this is the first category where you can get some fresh air.
That's right. Open that door and sit down on that balcony. That is great.
And have your own outdoor
right.
space.
Done that too.
That's nice.
Now, so far, we've done all three.
Now, the fourth category would be a suite.
That's right.
Now, you want to be in the suite life, right? Now, what falls under the category of a
Gosh,
suite?
a lot of different suites.
There are a lot of different suites. So you can have a junior suite, a club balcony suite,
Aft.
yacht club suite,
Right. An aft balcony,
an aft suite.
which we had, again, done that.
You could have a haven suite.
Private.
This all depends what they're called, and the sizes of them
Right.
will all depend on
The cruise line.
what cruise line you're on.
Right.
Yes, and in most cases, not all. It's very rare that they don't have a balcony on a suite.
Right.
But there are a few
Right.
that do not have balconies, so you want to check that out. Now, we also have something else to throw in the mix with us, right?
I know. It's not just, picking the basic four, but there's so many different variations of those four.
And within the variations, there's a couple of things that you need to consider.
Right.
I would think that the first thing they should consider is obstruction. That's something that they could choose in any category from ocean view, balcony, and suite and get a better price on because maybe there's a pole in your way or
A beam,
a beam,
a lifeboat.
a lifeboat.
We've had the beams. We've had partial lifeboat, and that was in the several ocean view cabins that we've done.
And you know, it wasn't that bad. It gave us a little bit of light.
I still got to see the light. I got to wave at some birds that landed outside.
Remember that one bird? He traveled with us the
travel
whole
with us.
cruise.
We were out in the middle of the ocean. That bird was still with us. It was kind of
I
crazy.
really wish I could have opened the
I
window
know.
and fed him.
I know. But yeah, so different variations.
Now, the other thing that could be a variation is where it is in the ship.
Right.
That will affect the price.
That's pretty much like, for us, it's kind of like number one, which is location. Location of your cabin. And why is location so important? Because you have front of the ship, you have center, and then you have aft.
right. But on a ship, they call it forward.
Forward,
a
mid,
midship, and aft.
lingo.
We should use some lingo for them, right?
Check out our video we did on ship lingo. Link above.
So if you want the most stable, and this is very controversial.
Right.
This is very, very, very controversial because some people will tell you the most stable is lower center, and some people will say higher center. We have been on a plethora, there's my word again, plethora of cruises, and we believe that the most stable is the center of the ship vertically and the center of the ship horizontally.
Right.
So,
Right in that cross.
and that'll give you the most stability.
Right. The higher you go, the higher decks, the more sway and the
more
more
sway you feel.
rocking and a rolling you may feel. So
Another thing that you want to put in the mix of how you're going to pick the cabin that's right for you is do you have mobility issues?
right.
And how far from the elevator is that cabin that you selected? Or maybe you're a foodie and you want to be closer to the restaurants.
Right.
Or maybe you're a sun whore like Darlene.
Darlene and David, who love to be close to the pool.
So this is one thing that I say, study the deck plan when you're selecting your cabin.
Right.
Just type it in, XYZ ship deck plan, and you can pull an image and it'll show you the layout of everything, where everything is.
We like to be close to the elevators, obviously, because I'm in a wheelchair. And we don't like to do what I call the walk of shame. You know, those long, long corridors where you get off the elevator and you're like, okay, we're on this side. And then you're like, oh my goodness, we got to walk all the way down there, or actually roll all the way down there. So we like to get it as close to the elevators as we can.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
We had the aft suite, but it was a very long way to get there.
But it was worth it.
It was
Aft
worth
suite,
it.
yeah.
It was worth
Yeah.
it. Now, when you're looking at that deck plan, you want to notice what's above you, what's below you, what's beside you. What's the reason why?
Reason why is things like, do you really want your cabin below the pool deck, where early in the morning the crew is going to be out dragging those loungers and putting them into place? Do you really want to be above and below, let's say, the nightclub, discotheque, buffets and restaurants, places where there's going to be a lot of people creating a lot of noise? Stay away from that.
And don't just think because on your deck plan there's an empty space next to your cabin that nothing's going on there. Be sure to ask your traveling professional what that might be, because we've been on cruises where next to us was the crew linen area.
Right, like storage.
Yeah, and so it was a constant in and out, in and out.
Right.
So,
wasn't a cabin, but it certainly had a lot of activity.
right. Now, the second thing that we're thinking of when you're choosing your cabin is cabin size.
That's right. That's right. Because there's a lot of different sizes depending on the ship and their layout. For instance, we had several different sizes of balcony cabins.
Right.
I mean, one can be just a basic square. One was a very larger angled, which afforded us a lot more room. And then the one on the Gem, was even bigger than any of the balconies we had. So, yeah, when you're picking, look at size. So, size does matter.
So when you're thinking about size, you want to think about things like how long of a cruise is this going to be? Where are we going?
Right.
What's the weather going to be like?
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean,
do you need a size? Meaning, I don't want an inside cabin. I want a balcony. Why? Because we're going to go to Alaska again, and this time we want a balcony to do a lot of the scenery. Are you traveling with children and a big family, right? And
no, I'm not.
Yeah, I know you aren't, but some people are.
I would be traveling alone in the solo cabin, because that's another option depending on what cruise line you're traveling. They may have a solo option for you.
So if you just need that just for yourself because you're traveling solo, or you're traveling with children and you need the pull-out couches or the Pullmans, the bunk beds from the ceilings that are pulled down, and then that's for you.
Are you interested in amenities?
Right.
So if you're interested in more amenities and you really want your hiney kissed,
you're going to go to the suites, the villas, the yacht clubs, the havens. Going to cost you more money, but if that's the vacation you want,
the yacht club.
Yeah, that's what you get. Now, what's the third thing we look at?
Well, the third thing we look at is cabin views, and we briefly went over that.
Yeah.
But dependent on what balcony you choose may depict on what kind of view you have. Remember, we were on the cruise, and I selected the cabin that jetted out a little bit.
Right.
So we got a little bit more of a view than everybody else.
Right. And you can have a balcony view, which is to the ocean. You could have a view in your cabin that is of the promenade, like a lot of the Royal Caribbean ships, where you're able to look down on the promenade, and it's not really an inside, but not an inside.
Now, for the people that like the walkers, that like to watch people watch.
Yes.
Carnival has those Havana cabins. Havana cabins, and they're like right on the promenade exterior, and you basically can watch everybody walk up and down.
And so many of these new design ships that are inside cabins actually have like what is it?
A virtual balcony.
Virtual balcony, right?
So
and you pretend you can see outside.
Or you have a virtual porthole.
Yeah.
So on many of these, it's fascinating.
Yes.
It's fascinating. You should watch. I'll link the video above. It's all about technology that we did a while ago. Yep. Some of these ships actually have cameras on the outside that are streaming live what's going on outside in that particular position of the ship.
So you don't have to feel you're cut off and that you would need an actual balcony or window or whatever.
Now, what about cabin amenities?
Right. Now, that's a biggie for people because there's so many things like, do you really want the upgrades because you can have concierge service?
Right. Or a butler.
A butler if you're like in the Haven, in a Haven villa.
Or MSC Yacht Club.
Yacht Club, right. And you're going to get that butler who actually lives and breathes in your suite villa area, has their own room, they do everything. And you have a bar in your villa, and you have the giant table and the piano and the chandeliers, and you have your private sun deck and your private hot tub, and that's the way to go. And you're going to pay for that.
Now, also, you can upgrade within certain cruise lines to get better linens and better shampoos and lotions and such. Right. And those would be like a spa cabin.
Spa cabins. People love that because it gives you access when you book that spa cabin and access to the spa on the ship with all the amenities that go with that.
Now, we're the type of cruisers that look for cabins mainly based on the last category, which is price. We want to
usually
get
we're
the
cheap.
best price
Yeah.
we possibly can so we can go on as many cruises
Right,
as we
right.
possibly can. Because we're not sponsored by any of these cruise lines.
No, we have no affiliation with anybody.
Nope.
I know it doesn't mean people don't like us, but we are not sponsored by anyone. We are not beholden to anyone. What is, is. And
What it
no,
is, it is.
we are not going to align ourselves and have any company tell us what we can and cannot say.
So very often people will ask us when is the best
Right.
time to book.
Biggest question.
Biggest question. And I don't care what anybody says.
Anybody.
We know because we are cheap. The best time to book the cruise is the earliest in the booking cycle. And what
Right.
does that mean? It means as soon as that cruise
Right.
becomes available to book, that is the best time to
Right.
book. That will be the lowest price. And the closer you get to the cruise, the higher the price will get. And then, towards the middle of the booking cycle, and then it starts dropping
Yeah.
again.
The closer you get to the sailing date is when they realize what has been booked and what has not been booked, and now they start lowering prices. And for those of you who have the ultimate flexible schedule and can decide at the last minute, a week or two or whatever before it sets sail, you can get a great deal in most cases.
In most cases.
Yeah.
But I've done a study on this, okay?
Uh-oh.
And the earlier you book will be the same, almost the same price as the people that book the day before it
Right.
leaves.
And
And the reasoning
down-
is they know. They know how much they
Right.
need to get for that
And the
cabin.
downfall to that is for the people at the end is that for us in the beginning, we have the best selection for location, cabin size, and everything we just talked about because the booking just came live. And we get to say, we want to be on this deck right here. Check this cabin number. That's the one I want. And especially those of you that need an accessible cabin. And accessible cabins sometime on ships are few and far between.
and they go fast.
They go fast. So you really need to jump on that as soon as the cruise goes live.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about guaranteed cabins.
Yeah.
Now, what is a guaranteed cabin? And, before we get into what is a guaranteed cabin, it could be one of the best deals you'll ever get, and it could also be one of the worst cruises you can ever be on.
The nightmare of your life.
So, what's a guaranteed cabin? It basically means that it is going to be the cheapest price that you
Right.
can get.
Right.
Of that particular category. So that would be out of the inside
Right.
balcony, ocean view, or
They're
suite.
going to give you and say, I can give you an inside cabin. It's the cheapest price. Here you go. And your answer is, thank you. I will give you the money. And they say, fine, but you get whatever cabin I have for you. And so you won't know where your cabin is located, on what deck. Is it forward? Is it mid? Is it aft? Is it high? Is it low? You won't know till you get there.
Now, it could be the greatest
Yes.
thing of your life.
Yeah.
Because you could book an inside guarantee and show up on the ship and find out that you have the suite,
Yeah.
right? But you could book the guarantee and show up. Say you booked an inside guarantee, and you get an inside cabin, and you're like,
You're
okay,
next door to the engines.
right? But I was gonna say, hey, that's great. I got a cabin, right? But yeah, you're next to the engine,
You got the cabin nobody wanted.
right?
Right?
Right. So that's some things
Yeah.
to consider when booking an inside cabin.
It's a gamble. It's a crapshoot.
And you
if
never
don't-
know.
Right. And if you don't care about that, because you're like, who cares? I'm not in there anyways. I don't care. I'll sleep on the deck if I have to. Then that's for you.
Now, we say you can always look for price drops.
Right.
You can always ask for upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're pricing your cruise, we want you to be the best travel consumer you can be.
Right.
And figure out the cost per day. So if you are going to compare, say they're going to compare a cruise, right? I can go on this Princess cruise, or I can go on this Holland American cruise. which one is the best deal.
Right.
Princess might say it's $1,000 a person, and Holland might say it's $1,200 a person. But we want you to look at what amenities are included,
Right.
and price that out. So
many
if
days.
it's $1,200 for the Holland America, it sounds like it's more expensive.
Right.
But let's say Holland America is giving you free drinks.
And,
Princess isn't.
And specialty dinners.
So
Right.
if you were to take that into consideration, whatever they're giving you for free, you need to be pricing it out for the other cruise and see which one's the best
Right.
value.
If you had to pay,
if you're going on value
right,
alone.
Right, because if you had to pay for that out of your pocket, you add that and say, if I had to pay for drinks and specialty dining, it would cost me this. You know what? That is a good deal. And divide it out by day, and you're paying so much a day. And as a cruise line, are they offering add-ons like, is airfare part of that? Is there an airfare hotel package part of that? Are they giving you third and fourth passenger free? I mean, if you've got kids, that's kind of the deal you want. So look for those add-ons when you're looking at pricing.
Yeah. So we hope that this has gleaned a little information on you and hope of how am I going to pick what cabin to get.
People, it's so intimidating,
It can be very
confusing, and
intimidating.
terrifying to try to figure out what's the best cabin for you. And so we've helped you out and kind of broken it down and made it easier.
And another great tool for your travel arsenal would be a good travel professional,
Right.
whether it be an agent locally,
Right.
or an agent at one of these 1-800 numbers or sites, websites, whether it be a PCP.
Right. Personal cruise consultant at whatever cruise line that you frequent.
So if you are interested in getting the name and number of our travel agent that we use, please email us at our new email address.
cruisingwithwheels@gmail.com.
And a great tool for everybody out there to ask questions is to visit Cruise Chat. What's
Right.
Cruise Chat, Frank?
Cruise Chat is a private cruising group on Facebook. Just go to Facebook, type in Cruise Chat, click to join. I'll see your inquiry, and I will approve you to join the group, where we have over 4,800 members, cruisers and non-cruisers alike. And those of you who are newbies, there's a lot of information you can get in that Facebook group.
And while you're on Facebook, check out Cruising with Wheels Facebook page. You just have to
Public.
follow us. It's public. We're also on Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter. So if you want to tweet. But until next time, we want to remind everybody to always
Travel safe.
and cruise often.